Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. In a world filled with endless opportunities, why would two men who have built 13 multi-million-dollar businesses altruistically invest 5 hours per day to teach you the best practice business systems and moves that you can use? Because they believe in you, and they have a lot of time on their hands. They started from the bottom, now they're here. It's the Thrive Time Show starring the former U.S. Small Business Administration's Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark, and the entrepreneur trapped inside an optometrist's body, Dr. Robert Zillner. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Mr. Clyde started from the bottom, and now we're at the top, teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio, and now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the
Thrive Nation, on today's show, we're joined by JT Lawson, the lead trainer from a company called MakeYourDogEpic.com, MakeYourDogEpic.com. And he's hopped up on enough Dayquil to kill a small goat, so we have no idea what he's going to say on today's show. JT, I'm excited to be here. Are you aware that you're here?
Yes, I am aware I'm here. Sorry if I've tried not to sniffle in the microphone.
No problem, no problem. So here's what I want to focus on today's show. It's going to be a quick show, but an important show, and I want to make sure everybody out there takes some notes. So again, if you're listening to this show, we assume that you're familiar with the brand MakeYourDogEpic.com. It's a dog training brand, but I assume that you're listening out there and you're probably not a dog trainer. So I'm going to teach you something on today's show. We're going to teach you on today's show something that's so important, and it's called Always Set an Appointment, ASA. I'm constantly hammering this idea within my world, within the world of sales, anytime I'm teaching salespeople, because if you don't set an appointment for anything in your life that doesn't get scheduled, it won't get done. What gets scheduled gets done. What doesn't get scheduled doesn't get done. So let's talk about the dog business, okay? So people go to MakeYourDogEpic.com. They go to MakeYourDogEpic.com because they are looking for Tulsa's highest rated and most reviewed dog trainer. They're looking for Oklahoma City's highest rated and most reviewed dog trainer, etc. They go to the website. And JT, you have sometimes you have a waiting list. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you do. But I mean, if somebody reaches out, they want you to train their first dog. The first lesson is only 50 cents. So when you pick up the phone, you guys are scheduling that person for an appointment right then. Why do you, when someone calls you guys, when they go to MakeYourDogEpic.com because they're looking for a Tulsa dog trainer, they fill out the form. Why do you schedule an appointment right there for that first lesson?
Because they have an urgent need to get their dog trained. So something happened that made them reach out to want dog training. So either their dog chewed up a shoebox with $2,000 in it, true story, or a dog ripped down the mini blinds, true story, or the dog scaled the fence and tackled a neighbor's little white dog. That was my dog before I trained him. Or the dog knocked over the grandma. That was my dog before I trained him. Or there's something that happened that made them have the urgent need to fill out that form, and we want to get them in as soon as possible because if we don't, somebody else will.
And I just got off the phone with a wonderful client today. I won't mention his business, but wonderful longtime client, and he was telling me, he says, Clay, I can't do more than about $600,000 a week of sales. And I said, well, why not? He says, because I'm booked out. I'm booked out. You know, and I said, well, why can't you do more? This guy does big projects. He says, I'm so booked out, I can't do any more jobs. I said, well, if it were my business, what I would do is I'd answer the phone. I'd have your front desk person answer the phone, and I would go ahead and book the appointment right away for this particular business, okay? Because this is a business where people typically book the job out 6 months in advance, a year out in advance. I mean, this is big big construction stuff. And I would never turn away the appointment. You always want to set an appointment, and then once you set an appointment, you get the deposit, and you tell someone, hey, we'll get started in August, we'll get started in September, we'll get started in whatever. But you're at a spot right now at Make Your Dog Epic where, as the leads are coming in, as more and more people are reaching out to you, as you continue to become more and more relevant in the minds of people in Oklahoma, you're at a spot now when you're sitting down with a customer, you have to tell them after that first lesson that's 50 cents, you have to tell them, hey, if you want to move forward today, we have this package, that package, or this package. And if you move forward today, we can get you on the books. Great. And if not, then we'll basically add you to a waiting list, and maybe we'll have something available in a couple months. Why do you think people are so excited to schedule the first lesson with Make Your Dog Epic for 450 cents?
Well, they're so excited because once they schedule that, we come out and we see their dog, and then we're going to go through with them what it'll take to get their dog to their goals, which a lot of trainers, they don't do that first lesson. So they just have somebody call in and they're like, yep, it'll be 3 weeks for $4,000. So that's something that we do that's different. Also, we offer a money-back guarantee on all of our training services. So we will always blame ourselves, never the customer, if it doesn't work. So then they're like, oh, well, I mean, that makes sense. And then also we will beat any competitor's price. So because of those two things, and the fact that we have private lessons or doggy boarding school, and no matter what, they get group class forever, I mean, those are three things that make them want to wait until we're off the wait list.
So on today's show, again, I want to make sure I'm teaching three big principles. One, you always set an appointment. Two, you have to have a massive no-brainer. And three, what gets scheduled gets done. So let's talk about the no-brainer. If you go to makeyourdogepic.com, and if I miss in one of these, tell me, but your first lesson is 50 cents, that's a no-brainer in the mind of the customer. It's like, well, why would I not at least schedule, at least just for the sheer entertainment of watching a man work for an hour for 50 cents? That's great. You know what I mean?
Right.
Somebody
Yep.
out there who's like, I don't have a lot of good things going on in my life, but if I can pay a man for 50 cents to run around, that's cool. I mean, so it's a great deal. Second is you will beat any competitor's price, which is mind-boggling. Third, you have the fastest turnaround time. Fourth, you have a money-back guarantee, so you never blame the dog or the customer. Five, if anybody books with you, they have a chance to win a trip to Hawaii. Six, you've got scholarship options for families in need. I mean, at this point, there's almost no reason to not at least fill out the form at makeyourdogepic.com for Tulsa dog training. And I just believe everybody out there listening today, you've got to understand this idea. You've got to have a no-brainer. JT, why does everybody have to have a no-brainer?
Well, because it's in the name. It's a no-brainer. So if you have an offer that people have to think about, well, then it's not a good offer. They need to be able to get in, and when they see it, they need to be like, oh, okay, done, I'm in. And that's how the customer needs to view it, as they don't need to think about it, they just need to do it.
It's just absolutely critical. Now, again, I'm hammering on these three principles. Hopefully I'm communicating succinctly. Always set an appointment. So today, when we wrap up the podcast today, I'm going to call a young lady on our team who's doing some video work for us, and I'm going to call her, and I'm going to say, hey, could you come in at this time to edit this video, or these videos? And if she says, it's a management tip too. If she says, no, or I'm busy, or I have to get back with you, then I would counter with, okay, how about this time? And if she were to say, well, I'm really busy right now, I would say, well, how about this time? But again, I'm always setting an appointment for contractors to install windows, people that want to build a deck. JT, hypothetically, if I was hiring someone to install a deck on one of my properties and they would be vague about when they're going to come and finish the deck, what does that mean?
That means they have no idea when they're actually going to do it. And it means that it's going to drift, and it'll probably never get done.
Drifting is so dangerous. In my opinion, drifting I've seen this over time. Drifting is such a dangerous thing in the game of business and in the game of life. In fact, Napoleon Hill, the best-selling author who I named my son after, he wrote a book called Outwitting the Devil that's all about not drifting. You cannot allow drifting, so you have to always set an appointment. It's so important. Somebody out there is listening going, I don't understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is you want to set an appointment. Now, our listeners out there, you're listening right now, you're a very smart person, but there's someone probably in your car right now who says, I don't believe in setting appointments because things always change. Well, and that person is suffering from jackassery. You've got to, JT, if I'm going to write a book, I have to set a specific time to write the book. If I don't set a specific time in my schedule to write the book, what's going to happen?
It's never going to get done. I mean, the person in the car struggling is probably what we like to call a circle backer. They like to circle back to things.
Circle backer.
And so they always, they're like, hey, I'll get back to you. Or they're the type of people to put something on your to-do list. So they're like, hey, will you remind me of this? Because they don't understand how the calendar works and they don't know how to set a schedule and to set an appointment. And so whether it's in business or life, you have to set that appointment. You cannot circle back, because if you keep circling back on things, then now you have 18 things you're circling back on, and you just need to set a time to get it done, or it will never get done.
I talked the other day to a client who has a web guy who works for him. And the web guy told me, well, I can't finish this because I'm waiting on GoDaddy to finish whatever they're doing. And I said, great, to the client's web guy. What time will you call GoDaddy to follow up? And he says, what? And I said, what time will you call them to follow up? And he says, oh, well, I'm waiting on them. So the next week I called the guy. I said, hey, did you call GoDaddy to follow up? He said, no, I did not. I said, is the website migrated? Is it working? He says, I don't know. He logs on. Sure enough, GoDaddy's waiting on him. You got to schedule a time to follow. You got to schedule a time. What gets scheduled gets done. Hopefully I'm communicating succinctly. That's power move number 1. Power move number 2, we're talking about how do you achieve massive success. 2, you've got to have a no-brainer for your business. I don't care if you're an architect, you're a dentist, you're a lawyer, you've got to have a no-brainer. I'm trying to give you ideas to stimulate the creative thinking here. But Dr. Robert Zellner, that's drzellner.com, DRZOELLNER. Your first pair of glasses and your first exam is $99. That's how much it is. First pair, $99. Why would you not do that? And it turns out people will do it. Elephant in the room, our haircut chain. First haircut is $1. Why would you not do that? Turns out people will do that. If you don't have a no-brainer in place, people simply won't take the action that you want them to take. It's so important. JT, if you don't have a no-brainer in place, if you don't have a no-brainer in place, you're not ever going to generate enough leads. And it doesn't matter how great your product or service is, you're not going to do well if you don't have leads. Why? Again, somebody out there is stuck on this.
Yep.
Somebody out there, I don't know who it is, JT. I don't know. And on part 2 of today's show, we're going to share some testimonials today. So I don't know who it is, but I can't remember who it is. But there's somebody back in the day who once said, it doesn't matter how good you are if you aren't getting enough leads. You know?
Yeah.
And I remember a client telling me that. I can't remember the client's name. But they were saying to me, it doesn't matter how good you are if you're not getting enough leads. And I was thinking, that is so true. You know, and I think it's really important that we have that mindset. It doesn't matter how good you are if you're not getting enough leads. You got to get those leads, JT.
Yeah, well, I want to talk to somebody. Somebody here is fighting us still on the no-brainer, and they're saying, I don't want to cheapen my brand because they don't want to do the no-brainer. So they were like, well, if I offer your first pair of glasses for $99, people are going to think we're cheap, and it's going to cheapen our brand. Or if I offer the first dog training lesson for 50 cents, they're going to think I'm cheap or I'm cheaping my brand. Or if I offer my first haircut for $1, but you have to, because you have to keep the people in, because if it doesn't matter how good you are, if people don't know about you, it doesn't matter. Or if they can't try what you're doing, it doesn't matter. So if you have the best barber in the world but they don't know and they've never experienced it, then it doesn't matter. So you have to be able to get people in with that no-brainer.
Again, you mentioned somebody's fighting that idea, so I'm trying to give people ideas. If you have a retail store, buy one, get one free. I just talked to a guy this morning. He has $250,000 of unsold inventory. So the move is, okay, if you have $250,000 of unsold inventory that you can't sell, that's been sitting in your life for 3 years or 5 years, tell the customer, hey, if you buy this, you get this thing for free. And you start giving people your free inventory as a way to push the stuff you're trying to sell. Or if you buy this, you get this half off. Or you just got to have a no-brainer. Buy one, get one free. That's a great deal. Your first interaction, your first dental exam, $1. Your first appointment is $1. Your first haircut is $1. We do 50 cents because that's half of $1. But I encourage everybody out there, you got to have that mindset of what gets scheduled gets done. 2, you got to have a no-brainer. And third idea I want to hammer, and then I'm done harassing you on today's show. You got to say no to grow. And there's things in my schedule and in your schedule that we have to say no to grow, because you have so many people beating down the door now at makeyourdogepic.com wanting you to train their dog that if somebody has like a wolf of a bona fide, not like figuratively, but in a bona fide wolf, like a wolf that's, a bloodthirsty animal that's not meant to be domesticated, a wolf. Or if somebody calls and says, I've got an orangutan. I have an orangutan, and I need to train that. You have to say no to that to grow. You have to say no to grow. And you do that all the time. So makeyourdogepic.com. That's why the initial phone consultation is free, as well as that first assessment with the dog that's free. So you actually go to ongoing training. That's one thing you do. You go to ongoing training all the time. And the reason why you do that is because you want to have the best trainers in the world, best dog trainers in the world, teach you. You also read books about dog training. You watch YouTube videos about dog training. You're always sharpening the sword. You're always improving the craft. If you, my friend, you are like those people that carve like a duck out of wood, and you're never quite done. You're always, you're like the painter. You're like the Bob Ross of dog training. You're always wanting to add one more puffy cloud. You know what I'm saying, though? You are dialed and you love it. And you recently went to a training. Maybe you could tell us where you went. Maybe you can't. But you went to a training. And again, if you want to tell us where you went, that's great. If not, it's okay. But you went to a training somewhere where the trainer had actually once trained for SeaWorld. He had once trained exotic animals, including an orangutan. And now he's a legendary dog trainer for big-time Hollywood productions and that kind of thing. But he was telling you about the dangers of training an orangutan. And just to clear up, for anybody out there that has a strong desire to train dogs and orangutans, I want to kill that idea because I'm trying to teach this final principle in a memorable way. You got to say no to grow. JT, what can you tell us about the recent training you went to and why you shouldn't train orangutans and dogs?
Yeah, so there's a guy that I went and learned from, and he trains animals on set for like TV shows, movie shows. He's done stunt work, and he trained an orangutan, and that orangutan, he was training his sister, and I found out through the story he was telling me that orangutans will randomly challenge you for dominance of their cage or whatever's going on. And you walk in, and the orangutan raises its arms, and then it's just going crazy at you. And then if you leave the cage, then you can no longer ever train that orangutan again. So I don't know if this is strictly orangutans or all the monkey world. I haven't trained that many. But if you if you leave the cage, you'll never be able to train that orangutan again because now it views itself as better than you. It views itself as dominant over you. It's the alpha orangutan, and it will never take orders from you again. So you have to fight the orangutan.
You have to fight an orangutan?
So you have to fight the orangutan.
Physically fight it?
Yes. And so this is probably, we'll get a call from Peter or something, but it's not my story. I didn't do it.
It's years ago.
Yeah,
years
long
ago.
time
In the
ago.
past.
But what happened was he actually had to fight this orangutan, and then they trained them to give them a kiss. You know, if you see these people who go travel, they have these orangutans that sit next to them. They pull them in for a kiss, and the orangutan kisses on the cheek, and then they get a picture, and they just do that all day. So they were training the orangutan to do that for a movie, and so after they get done fighting, he says, "Give me a kiss." And the orangutan leans in, kisses him on the cheek, and then they were good for like 4 months. And then it happened again, and he doesn't train monkeys anymore.
Every time I hear that story, it's unbelievable to me that it actually happened. Again,
it's crazy.
If you have an orangutan, please don't call. Please don't call. But if you have a dog and you have a Tulsa dog, specifically a Tulsa dog, Oklahoma City dog, and an Edmond dog, if you're looking for Edmond, Oklahoma dog training, Broken Arrow dog training, Tulsa dog training, Jinx dog training, you're looking for any of these regional areas, Glenpool dog training, that's what you do at makeyourdogepic.com, makeyourdogepic.com. And in conclusion, folks, on part 2 of today's show, I will share another client success story, a powerful story where we're going to talk about the no-brainer search engine optimization, building checklists and systems. But hopefully these 3 principles really sink in. Principle number 1, what gets scheduled gets done. Principle number 2, you got to have a no-brainer. You got to have a no-brainer. You have to have a no-brainer. And principle number 3, you have to say no to grow. You got to say no to grow, because if you don't say no to grow, you're going to end up training an orangutan, fighting for your life, and not making money. And again, if you get off the orangutan thing, you end up in a meeting that's stupid. You end up in a Chamber of Commerce event that doesn't make any sense. You end up going on a trip you don't want to go to. You end up in a endless Zoom call and a series of conference calls that don't make any sense. And that's not where you want to be. If you want to thrive, you want to move beyond surviving, that's how you do it. My name's Clay Clark. That's JT Lawson. JT Lawson is also the author of a book about how he was mentored by a millionaire and basically the path and the process of going from violently or aggressively or highly motivatedly with a lot of energy going in a circle and then learning how to gain traction. And that book is called What I Learned from My Millionaire Mentor. And you can pick up a copy of that book today at jtlawson.com. Again, if you're out there today and you're taking massive action, but now you're looking to gain traction, go to jtlawson.com, jtlawson.com, and pick up a copy of the new book, What I Learned from My Millionaire Mentor, and how this knowledge can launch anyone on a path to making millions. And without any further ado, JT, a lot of people listen to these shows kind of on like repeat. They listen to them like it automatically loops into the next show.
Oh, yeah.
So for anybody out there listening today, folks, we'll probably talk to you in 5 minutes. Well, Thrive Nation, on part one of today's show, we did a deep dive into this idea of why you always have to schedule an appointment. You've got to work via appointment. If you don't work via appointment, things won't get done because what gets scheduled gets done. 2, you've got to have a no-brainer. You got to have a no-brainer for your business. If your business does not have a no-brainer, that is something my brain cannot understand. You have to have an offer so hot that people cannot resist it. And 3rd, you've got to say no to grow. And so we're joined here, JT, we're joined here with the founder of WindowNinjas.com, longtime client, Gabe Salinas. Welcome onto the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
I'm well, Clay. Thanks for asking. Hope you're good too.
I'm doing great, brother. Now I'm going to tap into your wisdom here about this idea of the no-brainer. WindowNinjas.com. Can you tell us what is your no-brainer at WindowNinjas.com? And I'll pull up your website so everyone can look at it.
Well, our no-brainer is schedule 2 or more services and receive 10% off your total invoice.
Okay, so this is your no-brainer right here. This is the website. You've also got highest rated and most reviewed cleaning experts here. When you have a call center, JT, you have a call center with your business.
Yep.
Phone rings. You have a call center with your business, Gabe. When the phone rings, Gabe, what are the most commonly asked questions that people have when they call?
People are concerned about how far out we're booked, so they want to know how fast we can get to their particular project. Second question would be price. That is always a concern of somebody's. And then the third most asked question is what exactly is entailed in the service itself.
And that's why you have a script. And for anybody out there, JT, your team has a script. Gabe, your team has a script. JT, what are the most commonly asked questions that your team gets asked?
They want to know if we work with their dog. So we do makeyourdog.epic.com, and they want to know if we work with their specific breed of dog. They want to know how soon we can do it, and they want to know price, and that's the big 3.
They just want to know it. Almost every time it's the same question.
Yep.
So if you didn't have a script, what would happen, JT?
People would say outrageous things and just start making things up.
And just, JT, you probably heard me 40 minutes ago, just sort of not rip into somebody, but push them pretty intensely.
Yeah.
For following the script, but without enthusiasm.
Oh, with zero enthusiasm.
So I just want to encourage everybody, if you have a script, you still have to mentor and coach and hold your team accountable, which is why I recommend installing clarityvoice.com for call recording. However, you, Gabe, you already have Clarity Voice installed. You already have a call recording system and set up. You already have the scripts, and that's why you're on the verge of franchising. That's why you're franchising. That's why you're doing the franchising, and that's why how many locations do you have now?
We're currently operating 11 locations throughout 4 states.
So again, folks, if you do not have call recording in place, heaven help you. If you don't have a no-brainer, heaven help you. Now, once you do have an appointment, I'm going to ask you and JT the same question. Why do you at WindowNinjas.com work via appointment, and why does your competition insist on not doing it? An example, JT, my wife, we moved into our house a few years back. I'll never forget it. We're moving into the house. And the cable people, the utility people, they tell my wife, we should be there around Tuesday. We'll try to be there around Wednesday. So my wife, we have kids, they're in activities, ballet, dance, cheerleading, drum lessons. And so my wife is living in a suspended sort of a terror of like, will they call now? I don't know. You got to answer any call that comes in because it could be them. And so she would say stuff like, well, I can't commit to going there because the cable people might call. I can't commit to being there. There's like a 2 weeks of our life where she could not do anything because the cable, water, electricity people might come by. So I want to ask you this scenario here. Gabe, why do people who are not windowninjas.com, why does all of your competitors, almost all of your competition, why do they insist on not setting appointments and saying jackassery like, well, we'll try to come by around Tuesday?
Well, Clay, I talk about that a lot. I mean, that's the difference between a wow experience and an average and ordinary experience. There's so many people out there that run businesses that should not be running businesses because they're just simply average and ordinary. They don't value others' time. They don't value their time, and therefore they can't schedule an appointment at a specific time because they are wandering around in this wandering doom loop of just idiocracy because they just don't value somebody else's time.
JT, why do you think it is? Why does almost every dog trainer, and again, I've worked with multiple dog training companies to help them scale, and every time that I sit down and work with a dog trainer, or a window cleaner, a carpet cleaner, any type of service business or product business or business to business or a lawyer, accountant, they all insist by default on not setting appointments. I know attorneys that'll tell people, yeah, I'll try to call you around noon. I'm sure you've never seen an attorney that's told you, I'll try to call you tomorrow around noon.
I've never, ever had that.
Seriously,
No. I have experienced that a lot actually with attorneys.
Yes.
And then also with dog trainers. I mean, I think just not even specifically dog trainers, but just humans don't understand how calendars work for the most part.
It's unbelievable.
Most humans cannot stick to a calendar, and then they use in the out of saying, well, they want to give themselves an out in case they feel bad or they feel sick or they feel whatever, and then they can take that nap or they can go hang out with that friend, and then they can say, oh, well, I said I'd be there by this time.
I tried.
At some point. Yeah.
I think
that's a big reason.
I have to beat that out of my children, figuratively speaking, because they all go to school, and at school, that's just jackassery is taught to them. And I'm going, stop telling me you're going to try to come here by 7 a.m. Stop trying to say you'll try to be here by noon. Just set an appointment. Now, just as an example, folks, you could look at my schedule and you can say, I don't like your schedule. You can say that I work too much. I'm too scheduled. I'm too rigorous, whatever that is you're saying. But this is my schedule today. This is my schedule, and this is what I'm going to do. You know why I'm going to do it? Because it's in my schedule.
Yep.
And I'm not going to mention who today, but we had somebody today I was doing an interview with, and the concept of the interview is I told the person, well, I would like to interview you for a 30-minute interview, maximum 30 minutes. An hour and 8 minutes into the 30-minute interview, guy's still rolling. And I love the guy, but that's the kind of jackassery that makes poverty happen.
Well,
you've got to block out time.
There's also the jackassery of ask holes. So people who ask for advice. So I wrote a book, What I Learned from My Mentor, and they asked me to be on their show, and I did an interview, and I'm telling them the steps that have helped me learn and grow, and that I know that what all successful people do. And they're like arguing with me on why your to-do list should be on an app and why. And I write mine down, and they're saying it should be on an app, or they're saying my website sucks, or they're trying to deflect what I'm saying back onto me, and they just can't take that accountability.
It's called Not Coachability. And again, that website for your new book, JT, is jtlawson.com. What I learned from my millionaire mentor, that's jtlawson.com for everybody out there who wants to check that out. So I want to ask you, so you got to have a no-brainer. Got it.
Yep.
Okay, great. We got to work via appointment. Got it. Okay. Third, you got to say no to grow. There's people that I'm sure that call you, Gabe, all the time at windowninjas.com. And they say things like, I own a boat, and I wanted to see if you guys could come out into the ocean and clean the hull of my boat. And you're like, I love that. I love you're in Myrtle Beach. We are too. I love that. But we do windows, gutters, pressure washing, dryer vent, chimney sweeping. They go, no, I have a dog, and I wanted to see if you could clean my dog while you're at it, clean my dog and my house and my car. I'm sure you've never been asked that before, Gabe. They say, well, while you're here, could you go ahead and clean my car and my dog? Is there any way you guys could pull some weeds out front while you're here? I mean, since you're here, could you go ahead and replace my windows? I'm sure you've never had that kind of question before, Gabe. Gabe, why do you have to say no to grow?
Oh, you got to stick to what you know. Otherwise, you're not going to grow. I mean, it's pretty simple, right? So, yeah, we get people all the time that ask us if we can, hey, do you spray weeds? Can you replace that window for me? We do get that a lot. there's all kinds of, can you fix my HVAC system? My air ain't blowing, so can you fix it for me?
Wow.
And you've got to be able to say no and focus on the things that you know if you want to grow. And so our core business is window cleaning, pressure washing, and gutter cleaning, and we do that well. We don't install gutters,
You
right? And
install the
so
gutters.
no, we don't install them. Somebody else has to install the gutter. Somebody has to make the gutter. They have to put that gutter up on the house. And lo and behold, after a few months, trees are going to have their leaves drop and all that debris is going to get inside those gutters that look nice and shiny and were all freshly put up 6 months ago. But the gutter guy who actually installed them isn't coming out to clean the gutters, but we are. And so he knows what his wheelhouse is, and we know what our wheelhouse is. And you know what? He's successful and I'm successful because we stay in our lane.
I didn't mean to cut you off and kind of cut out here for a minute. I want to ask you and JT the same question. It's easier said than done to do that. And I remember just yesterday, JT, there was a guy, I was trying to explain to him, and I've told this guy multiple times, I do free 13-point assessments. When people go to thrivetimeshow.com, I do free 13-point assessments. It's great. But I only work with 160 clients. And one of the things I don't do is I don't help people raise money. I'm not a money raiser guy. And the guy says,
Yep.
Clay, I want to hire you, but I want to see if I can hire you to help me raise money. Then I'll be able to hire you. And I'm going, no. And you heard me tell the guy no probably 4 times in a row.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, well, why am I not a good fit? I'm like, you're not a good fit because I don't do things like what you're trying to. I don't help people raise millions of dollars before they get a profitable business and then before they call me. That's not what I do. I work with real business owners that have a real business that they need to help grow. I work with people like Gabe Salinas of Window Ninjas. When Gabe reached out to me, he already had a business. He just needed help scaling it. I don't work with people that don't have customers that are looking for the idea of raising millions of dollars to sell an unproven oddity to the world. An unproven oddity. What am I saying? This guy was trying to sell an unproven oddity to the world. And so I say no to grow. I know, JT, you do the same thing at makeyourdogepic.com. There's certain, like you don't train a wolf. Why don't you train a wolf?
We don't train a wolf because they're not domesticated enough. I mean, I have trained part wolves, but you have to, I'm not training somebody's dog to walk on both feet. I'm not training to walk on 2 feet. I'm not training a dog to sit pretty. We're not doing the trick stuff because that's not in our wheelhouse, and that stuff takes longer. So we're not doing that stuff. Also, as in business and life, you have to say no to grow. So I've seen you do it, Clay. I mean, people have started asking me now that I've started becoming more successful. They ask you to hang out, or they ask you to go do the lunch. They want to do the lunch.
I want to do the lunch.
Or they want to do the dinner, or you have an employee who right before you're about to go on an interview is saying, hey, can we talk? And the answer is no, because I have this, but here's this time or whatever, or you just say no.
Folks, what gets scheduled gets done. So I'm encouraging everybody here to schedule an appointment with yourself to do this today if this is of interest to you. WindowNinjas.com is a brand that is growing. And in the final 60 seconds, Gabe, I'd like for you to share with us about the franchise opportunity because you're now allowing people that want to own their own business an opportunity to buy a Window Ninjas franchise. So in the final 60 seconds, what does it cost and who's a good fit for a WindowNinjas.com franchise?
Well, yeah, we are definitely growing, Clay. Like I said, we got 11 locations throughout 4 states, and we're in one of the fastest growing industries in the country right now. It's $1 billion industry, and it's completely growing, just leaps and bounds. A good fit for somebody who would be interested in a Window Ninjas franchise is somebody who wants some time freedom and financial freedom, of course, but they want a proven system, and they want to generate anywhere from 20 to 30% profit. And like I said, they want to live the life that they dream about living, and they want to do it through a business platform. And our business platform is a proven model. It works. It's successful. We have a call center here in our office, in our corporate office in Wilmington, North Carolina. So that makes it easier on the franchisees because they don't have to have a brick and mortar building, and they don't have to answer all of those crazy calls when customers want us to install gutters as opposed to cleaning gutters. So we facilitate their needs in a multitude of ways, which creates success for them as well as us over here at Window Ninjas. So anybody that's interested in owning a Window Ninjas should definitely reach out to us, hop on our website, take a look around, give me a call, 833-NINJAS1, and we'd be happy to facilitate their needs.
Gabe Salinas, thank you for your time today, sir. We really do appreciate you. Again, folks, if you're looking to buy a franchise, go to WindowNinjas.com. And to learn more about JT Lawson and his new book, you can go to JTLawson.com, JTLawson.com. Thanks again, sir. We'll talk to you next week.
What is the biggest mind shift that you had going from running a Tip Top Canine to franchising? So what was the big switch you had to do to make that, switch over to where you're now running it, doing it every day, but now trying to teach others to do it?
Well, so doing my like craft is really easy for me, right? I've been doing it for a long time, like 11 years or so now, maybe 12. So
Very crafty.
yeah, so doing my actual job is a lot easier than sitting down and literally stepping out every single little thing I'm doing and systemizing every single little thing. Like my wife or Clay would be like, hey, you need to make the system. And I'd be like, oh, I want to train this dog. Oh, this one's aggressive. I want to train this one. This one's cool or whatever.
So the systems weren't sexy?
No, not really. And then also, when we first started, Clay just helping me with like the consistency of ads, the consistency of the group interview, he's like a super consistent man. So just being consistent in every single little thing and systemizing every single little thing, even if it was boring, that was probably the hardest part.
Hi, I'm Ryan Wimpy.
And I'm Rachel Wimpy, and the name of our business is Tip Top Canine.
Our business is a dog training business. We help people with behavioral issues and teach their dog how to listen. When I was learning to become a dog trainer, we didn't learn anything about internet marketing or advertising or anything at all. Just dog training. And that's what's so great about working with Clay and his team, because they do it all for us.
So that we can focus on our passion, and that's training dogs. Clay and his team here, they're so enthusiastic. Their energy is off the charts. Never a dull moment here at Thrive.
We've been working with Clay and his team for the last 5 months, 2 of which have been our biggest months ever. 1, our biggest gross by 35%. Clay's helped us make anything from brochures to stickers, new business cards, new logos, scripts for phones, script for email, script for text message, scripting for everything.
How I would describe the weekly meetings with Clay and his team are awesome. They're so effective. It's worth every minute. Things get done. We'll ask for things like different flyers, and they're done before our hour is up. So it's just awesome, extremely effective.
If you don't use Clay and his team, you're probably going to be pulling your hair out, or you're going to spend half of your time trying to figure out the online marketing game and producing your own flyers and marketing materials, print materials, all the stuff like that. You're really losing a lot as far as lost productivity and lost time. Not having a professional do it has a real sense of urgency and that actually knows what they're doing when you already have something that's your core focus that you already know how to do.
You would also be missing out with all the time and financial freedom that you would have working with Clay and his team.
We would recommend Clay and his team to other business owners because they need to be working on their business, not just trying to figure out the online game, which is complex and changing daily. So no one has a marketing team too. Most people don't. They can't afford one, and their local web guy or a local person that they know probably can't do everything that a whole team and a whole floor of people can do in hours and not just weeks or months. There's a definite sense of urgency with Clay and his team. I used to have to ride other web people, really ride them to get stuff done, and stuff is done so fast here, and there's a real sense of urgency to get it done.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. In a world filled with endless opportunities, why would 2 men who have built 13 multi-million-dollar businesses altruistically invest 5 hours per day to teach you the best practice business systems and moves that you can use? Because they believe in you, and they have a lot of time on their hands. They started from the bottom, now they're here. It's the Thrive Time Show starring the former U.S. Small Business Administration's Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark, and the entrepreneur trapped inside an optometrist's body, Dr. Robert Zillner. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Mr. Clyde started from the bottom, and now we're at the top, teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio, and now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Light that spark, Fire Nation. JLD here, and welcome to Entrepreneurs on Fire, brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network with great shows like Business Made Simple. Today, we'll be breaking down the proven processes and systems that you need to implement to build a time and financial freedom creating business. To drop these value bombs, I brought Clay Clark and Ryan Wimpy into EO Fire Studios. Clay is former US SBA Oklahoma Entrepreneur of the Year, founder of several multi-million-dollar businesses, and Amazon best-selling author. And today, Fire Nation, we will be talking about quality leads, getting turnkey marketing systems that will get you those leads. We'll talk about the irresistible offer and scale and grow exponentially once you've nailed that, and then hitting the repeat button, and so much more when we get back from thanking our sponsors. Looking for a place where you can experience live interactions with your audience? Then Speakeasy is for you. I'm loving creating daily content on Speakeasy, and I know you will too. Visit getspeakeasy.com to download the app and go live today. Success Story, hosted by Scott D. Clary, is brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. Success Story features Q&A, keynote presentations, and convos on sales, marketing, and more. A recent episode on how to protect your business in times of crisis is a must listen. Listen to Success Story wherever you get your podcasts. Ryan, say what's up to Fire Nation and share something that you believe about becoming successful that most people disagree with.
What is up, Fire Nation? I'm Ryan Wimpy with Tip Top K9. One thing about being successful, it has absolutely nothing to do with your passion. You may have to put that on hold to create scalable, repeatable systems in order to succeed. Do not focus on the passion.
Well, Fire Nation, you need to be excited about today because as I mentioned in the introduction, we're talking about proven processes, proven systems that will help you build time and financial freedom, creating your business. And it's not just Ryan on the mic, but we have Clay Clark on the mic. And this is actually the first time I've had a guest in my 3,700 episodes crack double digits, because this is Clay's 10th appearance on Entrepreneurs on Fire. So Clay, let's start with you, brother. Fire Nation wants to know where we get quality leads. How can we create turnkey marketing systems that produce quality leads? Brother, take it away.
Well, when I met Ryan Wimpy here of Tip Top K9, this was a guy who was passionate about dog training, and he really knew how to sell well if he got quality leads. And so if you're listening out there right now and you have a great product or a great service and you just need more quality leads, what we have to do, and I do this with every single client we work with, we have to identify what we call a three-legged marketing stool. What is the most effective way? Not the only way, but what is the most effective way? Not what are all the ways, but what are the three most effective ways to generate leads for your business? And so for Ryan, we identified that search engine optimization was absolutely very important. The second area we discovered is that social media marketing was very important. And the third area that we discovered was this thing called the Dream 100, which Chet Holmes, the best-selling author of a great book called The Ultimate Sales Machine, Chet Holmes, a great author, the late great business consultant, called the Dream 100, where Brian needed to get all of the veterinarians, all of the dog groomers in his local areas to refer him. And since we implemented the search engine optimization, domination, the social media marketing, and the Dream 100 system, Tip Top has now grown from one location that was, I would say, maybe doing well to now 17 thriving locations all across America. And I would predict by the end of 2022, we'll probably end the year at 21 to 22 territories.
Wow. I mean, that is intense stuff. Ryan, like when you were going through this, were you like, oh my God, this just totally makes sense. I've been like going a million miles an hour in a million different directions and not getting quality leads. I'm not putting words in your mouth. I'm just asking you, was this happening? And how did what Clay really structured for you change things?
Yeah. So as far as the search engine, definitely helped. We had good map reviews, but we weren't doing those other three. I wasn't implementing a Dream 100. We weren't going out and seeing people. And so if I was getting in front of people, I had a sales coach before. Clay's a business coach, and that's why I found him. But I had a sales coach, so sales are doing good, but I only had so many of them, right? So it doesn't matter how good you are if you're not getting enough leads. Right.
And one thing I want to also double down on, Fire Nation, that book that Clay talked about, The Ultimate Sales Machine, fantastic. You must read it. In fact, I'm good friends with Chet's daughter, Amanda Holmes, and she just released the updated version of that book with, of course, all of Chet's genius in there with updated to, the 2022 version. So that book just came out. So definitely worth a read in all the different areas. And Clay, I want to talk about irresistible offers. We need to develop an irresistible offer for our first time customers. Why and how do we do this?
Okay, well, first off, if anybody listens right now and you go to thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire, that's one irresistible offer, thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire, or you can go to tiptopcanine.com. I'm just giving you two examples. And let me throw in a third example. Why don't you go to shawhomes.com, shawhomes.com. So Shaw Homes is a home builder that I've helped to grow from, check this out, from $16 million a year of sales to $170 million of sales. So from 16 million to 170, 10 times, more than 10 times, almost 11 times growth. And we've done that in less than 4 years. Tip Top Canine has gone from one location to 17. And then if you go to thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire, you can see that I do these free consultations. And people say, why do you do a free consultation? Well, frankly, it's for my mental health because JLD, you have great listeners who listen to your show and they reach out all the time to want to attend a workshop or they want to schedule one-on-one consulting and they want to see if we're a good fit. And your listeners are wonderful because they're what I call diligent doers. They're people that actually want to pursue their goals and turn their dreams into reality. However, people that don't listen to your show, some people, at 3 a.m. after 3 adult beverages, they fill out the form just to see what happens. Not your listeners, but other people do that. And so what you want to do is you want to make an offer so hot that the super intoxicated guy at 3 a.m. fills out the form and your ideal and likely buyer. So at Tip Top Canine, the first dog training lesson is only $1. Now, their average ticket, Ryan, how much is the average ticket if someone decides to hire you?
Right now, it's about $2,200 to $2,800.
So the average customer is spending $2,200 to $2,800 to pay Tip Top Canine to train their dog. But before they decide to commit $2,200 to dog training, they want to see if it's a good fit. So the first lesson is $1. For Shaw Homes, your first consultation is free. Your 3D mock-up of your new home is free. They have all sorts of a free tour, a free interactive experience. That's free. Or in the case of thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire, my first consultation is free. So what you're wanting to do, if you're listening right now, you want to think about what's something that you could offer that's so hot, so irresistible, so amazing that you want to try it out. You'd actually be able to modify someone's behavior. Let me give you one more example. I was recently in San Diego, where you're from, JLD. I was in San Diego, and I was not wanting to have a delicious piece of Asian cuisine. I was not thinking to myself, you know what? I want Asian cuisine right now. But I happened to be walking in this mall area and the guy comes out and says, would you like a free sample? And I'm thinking, well, okay. And I tried the sample and it was phenomenal. And then it occurred to me, I think I'm hungry. And I ordered a meal. But that free sample, it was a generous sample now. It was an ample sample that my human mind could handle. It was so good, though. And I'm not kidding. I wasn't thinking about having Asian cuisine, but it was so good it altered my behavior. And it was like a tractor beam from Star Wars. And I couldn't pull out of it. And I'm like, oh, no. Next thing you know, I'm ordering the meal. It was phenomenal. So everybody out there, if you go to your website, think about your business right now, folks. Think about it. What is an offer that you could offer that's so hot, so irresistible that people can simply not resist it?
An ample sample. That is definitely going to become part of my vocabulary. I love it for all the reasons. And once we've figured out getting quality leads, once we've figured out our irresistible offer, how do we scale, Clay? How do we grow exponentially?
Well, the thing with Ryan's business that was challenging is he's sort of a dog genius. He knows how to train a dog and the proper way to train a dog and matriculate and coach up the dog so the dog is well behaved. And then the owner goes, wow, my dog used to eat everything. My dog used to eat my beautiful wife's wedding dress. My dog's eating my shoes. My dog won't stop urinating in the house. My dog's crazy. And then they get the dog back and it's a well-behaved dog. So the question is, how do you build a system so that other people who are not you can learn how to train a dog with the level of quality that Ryan can do? So it became sitting down with Ryan, and I'll let Ryan explain in more detail. And this was the part of the process that I don't think he was passionate about, and that I wasn't passionate about it. But in order to achieve financial freedom and time freedom, we had to turn everything into a checklist. everything into a process. And so we had to grind through the process of building a checklist and a process for everything. And now when somebody buys a Tip Top Canine franchise, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan, but I think almost everybody who owns a Tip Top Canine franchise now previously was not a dog trainer.
Oh, every single one of them was not.
So we got like a former mortgage banker
Yeah.
who bought a Tip Top Canine franchise, and now he's making more money training dogs than he ever made in the mortgage industry. And that's because
That's
the
right.
systems are so tight. So, Ryan, maybe you could explain what that process was like, because I know it was arduous, it was tedious, but now it's created financial abundance.
Yeah. So, like I said, it wasn't my passion. My passion was training dogs. But we took basically a 2-page outline into a 60-page process manual, and then checklists for our boot camps, process and structure and outlines for our private lessons, for our take-home training, the sales script, our call center scripts, literally everything, painstakingly sitting down and just line item by line item creating those scripts for the call center. And the sales was probably the biggest thing, because it took me, or even training my trainers, it used to take me 6 months to do what we do in 6 to 8 weeks now.
So now what's happening here, and this is so powerful, JLD, is there's a book called The Checklist Manifesto that I encourage everyone to read. The Checklist Manifesto is written by Atul Gawande. And what he talks about in that book, and this is wild, okay? He talks about medical professionals that were able to dramatically decrease the amount of deaths in hospitals as a result of following a checklist. He talks about architects. They were able to decrease structural problems as a result of using checklists. He talks about aviation experts, pilots, that were able to decrease the amount of errors they had by following checklists. And he talks about in his book that most people don't like following a checklist. And he writes here, and I'm quoting, he says, "The volume and complexity of what we know has now exceeded our individual ability to deliver its benefits correctly, safely, or reliable without a checklist." He says, "We don't like checklists. They can be painstaking. They're not too much fun. But I don't think the issue here is mere laziness. There's something deeper, more visceral going on when people walk away, not only from saving lives, but from making money. It somehow feels beneath us to use a checklist, an embarrassment. It runs counter to our deeply held beliefs about how the truly great among us, those who we aspire to be like, handle situations of high stakes and complexity. The truly great are supposed to be daring. They improvise. They do not have protocols or checklists." He says maybe our idea of heroicism needs updating. I just encourage everybody out there, if your business feels stuck, you want to sit down right now, make a list of all the things that you have to do on a daily basis that are, I call it crap, but core, repeatable, actionable processes. It's crap. Core, repeatable, actionable processes. Anything that you do that it's tedious, repetitive tasks, and find a way to make a checklist or a system out of it so that you can teach a new employee, a new hire, or in Ryan's case, a new franchisee how to do it quickly. And in my office, every position we have, JLD, in my offices, we can teach somebody how to do that job in 15 hours or less. And that's my goal. And then the Tip Top Canine franchise, when people go to tiptopcanine.com to learn about buying a Tip Top Canine, from the time that somebody shows up as a mortgage banker with no knowledge of training dogs to the time they leave as an expert dog trainer, I believe, Ryan, it's 6 weeks now?
6 weeks.
6 weeks. So that's what you want to do is you want to build a system. It's kind of like reverse college. College, no matter what you want to learn, it takes 4 years. In the world of entrepreneurship, you want it to take no longer than 4 hours if you can.
I will say this. I must kind of be a weird person because I love checklists. I love checklists. Listen,
Yes!
I've always loved checklists, and I think there's a reason for it. While you were talking, Clay, I was like, why do I love checklists? I love checklists because I hate having to do something a second time or a third time. I hate doing something wrong and being like, I've got to start back over again. I literally hate that feeling. And so, man, give me a checklist because I will go through step by step by step, and I will be happy the whole time knowing that I'm doing it right the first time. That is so important to me for some reason. In Fire Nation, I hope it becomes important to you, and I hope you stick around because we're dropping value bombs when we get back from thanking our sponsors. We all know how important engagement with our audience is. As creators, finding effective ways to provide value while also being able to interact in real time is a challenge. But now there's Speak Easy. Speak Easy is an app that allows you to organize your own live talk show. It's made by creators for creators and is uniquely built to help you monetize your audience. Whether you use it for live podcasting, show recordings, or hosting premium content people can subscribe to, Speak Easy has you covered. Want to stream private shows for select attendees? You can do that too. All you have to do is download the app, go live, and you'll be connecting with an interactive audience immediately. I'm loving creating daily content on Speakeasy, and I know you're going to love it too. So what are you waiting for? Visit getspeakeasy.com to download the app. Check me out at John Lee Dumas, and let's start rocking Speakeasy together. That's getspeakeasy.com. I look forward to interacting with you, Fire Nation. Feeling connected to your team is a must, but with employees and contractors all over the globe, feeling that connection can be tough. Not to mention the software you use can sometimes make you feel out of sync, like you and the rest of your team aren't on the same page. And when a team is disconnected, your customers pay the price. If the software you're currently using is sharing out-of-date data on your business or your customers, that equals trouble. Or maybe you feel like your software is making it impossible to see the full picture. If that's the case, then listen up. Customers end up bearing the brunt of this disconnection, meaning a great customer experience is lost, sometimes forever. Ready to get your team on the same page? HubSpot transforms everyday conversations, strategic decision-making sessions, and everything in between into moments customers feel good about. With a lovingly crafted suite of tools, you can seamlessly connect your team so everyone has access to the same data, and you're able to focus on what really matters, your customers. Learn how HubSpot can help your business grow better at HubSpot.com. Clay, Ryan, we're back, and I want to talk about hitting the repeat button. This is something that, Clay, you do so well with yourself and with your clients. How can we systemize repeatable success?
Well, what you do, and I'll just give you an example. I want to brag on Ryan's wife for a second. You know, when I first told Ryan and Rachel when they were new clients, I remember it was, and in this meeting, JLD, it always goes over really badly or really great. And it's going to be, it's like you go one way or the other in this meeting. And I tell the clients, I say, now listen, now that we have more leads, now that we have the branding improved, the branding looks great, the website looks great, leads are coming in. Now we need to install call recording. Now, this show's recorded, right? So anybody can listen to the show and they can say, that guest was terrible, or that guest was awesome. But anyway, the audio of this show lives on for a long time. All right. So everybody hears how this show goes. It's one take. We're not editing it. You just hear it as boom. It's live. Boom. So when you're doing calls, though, sales calls, you say, thank you for calling Tip Top Canine. This is Clay. How can I help you? The way that someone answers the phone is a big factor as to whether that customer becomes a customer or not, whether that lead converts into a customer or not. If the person answering the phone sounds sarcastic, unengaged, disengaged, unfocused, if they sound confused, if they sound unaware, uninformed, uneducated, the ideal and likely buyer that you worked so hard to woo and to wow, that lead that you tried to generate becomes a dormant lead, a dead lead, and the lead dies on the vine. So what we had to do is install call recording. I recommend a company called clarityvoice.com, but you can use whoever you want to use. So we put the call recording in place. Then we have to follow this. We have to write a script. So the team has to follow a script, and the calls have to be recorded. And Ryan's wife, Rachel, she not only insisted that the calls were recorded, and she insisted that the team follow the script, but she did it with a spirit of excellence and joy. And now he has an incredible call center. So anybody who owns a Tip Top Canine franchise, they no longer have to answer their own phones at all. And Ryan, maybe you could talk about that process, because most business owners, when you tell them that their team needs to follow a script and that the calls need to be recorded for quality assurance, most business owners say, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, so it was still every Sunday, our office manager listens to recorded phone calls, and then they play them on Monday, right? Boom. So as a team, they're going over all the calls to make sure everyone's following the script, and it handles about 98% of all the issues. And then what we did with Clay is we're on like version 17, is to start with every week we come in and be like, hey, this is what broke. Hey, this is what broke. And then after listening to the calls, you could see where they couldn't make it, and then we just kept tweaking that. 17 iterations. So we're on version 17 of the script, and then once we finally set it, we've been able to stick with that consistently. Yeah. But early on, we were doing a lot of changes, and now JLD, the one thing we're working on with Tip Top, which is exciting,
is for a variety of reasons. A lot of people are wanting to leave a corporate America. I think a lot of times it's because people listen to great shows like yours and they start to say, you know what, I want to own my own business. For one reason or another, they're tired of the corporate, compliance, and they feel like they're done working for the big box store. They want to go own their own thing. And so now, Ryan, today, I would say about every week, it seems like you're meeting with somebody who wants to open a Tip Top Canine and trying to figure out if they're a good fit or not. And really, we're scaling the business to a level where financial freedom is now 100%. Ryan and his wife, they now have financial freedom. They now have the time freedom to go back to where we started, to now you can focus on your passion. And I believe, Ryan, you just recently purchased some chickens. Am I correct?
Yeah, I did. I bought some chickens.
So now he's pursuing his passion, which is chicken buying.
Do you like fresh eggs? Is that anything to do with it?
Love the fresh eggs.
Okay, got it. Okay,
Love
that's
it.
good.
Oh, we eat like 4 or 5 eggs a day.
So, Clay, you teach entrepreneurs how to create branding that enhances, not diminishes, we're talking enhances perceived value. Tell us more.
Yeah, so we're going to go right now, and everyone to go to shawhomes.com. We're going to go to shawhomes.com. We're going to go to tiptopcanine.com, and we're going to go to oxyfresh.com. These are 3 brands that I work with intimately, so I'm trying to give you some examples here. If you go to oxyfresh.com, oxifresh.com, we just now passed 475 locations. Can I get an amen? Folks, this business went from 1 location to 475 locations. And whether you like the website or not, that's up to you. You go to the website, oxyfresh.com, and if you look at it and go, that is terrible. Well, you know what? You're correct because you're the consumer. And so you as a consumer are going to decide whether to buy or not buy from a business almost instantly. It's the first impression, all right? Then you go to tiptopcanine.com, and you're going to decide whether you're interested or not interested based on that first impression. Another example would be shawhomes.com, the home builder I was telling you about. So what we have to do with branding is we have to understand that branding is simply a perception. So the way I describe branding is a good friend of mine named Michael Levine. He used to be the PR consultant for Nike, for Pizza Hut, for Michael Jordan. Check this out, folks. For George Bush and Bill Clinton. So if you don't like George Bush, you don't like Bill Clinton. Either way, he did both. He worked on both sides. And one of the things he told me is he said, Clay, branding is nothing other than gift wrapping. So he said, if you were to give a woman a ring and you gave her the ring and you gave it to her and it was packaged in a Kmart box, no offense to any Kmart employees out there, but if you got on one knee and you said, will you marry me? And you pulled out the Kmart box, a lot of women would go, did you buy my ring at Kmart? Are you kidding me? They would reject the packaging. Now, if you got on the knee, on the one knee, and you got out and you pulled out a ring and you presented it in a Tiffany box, they would go, oh, wow, this is awesome. And there would be an immediate reaction. So what's wild, though, is if you were a very deceitful person, and none of your listeners are, but you had a really, really cheap ring that you bought and you put it in a Tiffany box, most people would perceive the cheap ring in the Tiffany box as having higher value than the ring, even a high quality ring, put it in a Kmart box. So what happens is we have to understand is we gift wrap everything as a culture. We gift wrap websites, we gift wrap politicians, we gift wrap musicians and celebrities, and people do judge you based upon the appearance of that first appearance they see. So when we went to tiptopcanine.com, and you'll have to correct me because my memory gets worse over time, but on tiptopcanine.com, I believe we went and we enhanced the website almost immediately.
Yes.
And yellow's your color.
Yellow's our color. Well, actually, we did the logo first. Got business cards, flyers, and then once you got the look, then we started making the website match the look.
We did your logo?
Yeah, you did the logo.
I don't remember that. Okay, so we redid
I had
an
an older, like, shieldish thing.
So we did the logo, and then we did an auto wrap for all the vehicles.
Yep, auto wrap, and then all of our sales sheets, our flyers. We got rid of the Word document sheets that I had.
Everything is branded, and it's designed to appeal to your ideal and likely buyers. So if you're listening right now, and you say, I went to oxyfresh.com and I don't like it. The question is, does your ideal and likely buyer like it? You see? So for oxyfresh.com, I want people to fathom this, okay? A man by the name of Jonathan Barnett had a vision to start the world's greenest carpet cleaner. And he had done it. He had created the world's greenest carpet cleaning process. It uses 10 times less water than almost every carpet cleaner in America. However, we needed more ideal and likely buyers, because most businesses that fail, by the way, have a great idea or a great product. They just don't sell anything. And if you can't sell, your business goes to hell. So we worked with Jonathan Barnett with OxyFresh.com. We've worked with Ryan with TipTopK9.com. We've worked with ShawHomes.com. And all I'm trying to do is make sure that the branding matches the expectations of your ideal and likely buyer. So the question is, when you look at these websites, oxyfresh.com, tiptopk9.com, shawhomes.com, or whatever your business is, I want you to ask yourself this question if you're listening right now. Does your website meet the expectations of your ideal and likely buyer? Does your website, does your branding, does your marketing, does your logo, do your print pieces, do they appeal to your ideal and likely buyer? And right here on my desk right now, I have a business card that was given to me by a guy by the name of Vito Servadio. It's like Servadio. Vito. He gave this to me at a birthday party I was at this week, and he happens to but the business card he gave me was phenomenal. It's like a sharp business card. His company's called Only the Best. It's a firearms company. But this card is hot, And he gave it to me. And right away I go, that is a great looking business card. And it's because it's a metal card. You want to keep it. You want to stick around. Another example would be, think about the packaging of an iPad. Everybody who buys an iPad, they want to keep the packaging of the iPad, and they don't know why. What are we going to use the packaging to re-gift next year? What are we doing? But people always want to keep the Apple packaging because the branding is so good.
Fire Nation, think about that. Think about the power of branding. And I love all the examples that you gave, Clay. And as I'm hearing you talk, I'm going through Tip Top K9. And that, by the way, is the letter K, the number 9. And whose idea was it, Ryan? It might have been yours, to have the dog balancing on top of the fire hydrant.
Yeah, that's mine.
That is so classic. I mean, Fire Nation, it's worth it just going to Tip Top K9.
That's our place command. Is doggy time out. We teach him to go to a box, a chair, a stool, and we use the fire hydrant just to show off.
The letter K, the number 9. So Tip Top, the letter K, the number 9.com. Testimonials. And as always, Clay just crushes it with testimonials as well. And I'm looking at all these testimonials you have. I mean, it's literally countless, but I mean, it's like, wow, if there's this many testimonials, this must be the best canine trainer literally in the world. And people go to search engines every single day, Clay, because they want to find solutions to their problems. How do you teach your students to dominate search engine results?
Well, what we do, and by the way, if anybody's listening right now and you go to thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire, if you're listening right now, any of your listeners can attend one of our in-person 2-day workshops. And the way I do it, JLD, is I tell people you can pay $250 for a ticket or whatever you want to pay. So somebody could say, I think I'm going to pay $5. I'm going to try it. That's fine. I don't care. Okay. It's the law of reciprocity. So far, everybody who's ever attended our workshops loves it. They go and tell their friends and family. But at the workshops, I do a full multiple-hour presentation on how to do this, but I'm going to sum it up into 4 quick points. There's 4 variables that impact your rank on the search engines, okay? Variable number 1, you have to have a website that is canonically compatible with Google's compliance standards. It has to be canonically compliant, or you would call it Google compliant. Does it adhere to the Google standards? Does it follow their canon of rules? Is it canonically compliant? The second, is it mobile compliant? What? By whose standard? By Google's standard. Is your website mobile compliant? The third is whoever has the most original HTML content, whoever has the most original relevant HTML content, that's hypertext markup language content, gets to be top for that subject. And 4, it's whoever has the most objective reviews. So I can help a business owner very quickly as part of our consulting program. What I do is I charge people $1,700 a month to grow their business. It's month to month. And with that package, I do include photography, videography, web development, search engine, all those things. But where I make my money, JLD, being very transparent with the listeners, I make a 20% margin with every client I work with. So I make $340 a month per client on average. It's month to month. So I'm not getting rich off that. It's $54,400 a month of profit I generate off the 160 clients. But where I make most of my money is I get a small percentage of the growth. That's where I camp out. That's where I make most of my money, is a small percentage of the growth. That's where I love to be. And so when I work with a client, I tell the client right away, hey, listen, we need to make your website canonically compliant. And I have web developers that work here full time, and they work with the client, and we knock it out right away. Boom. Then I tell them, we need to make it mobile compliant. Boom. But the third area that I cannot do, and that's why I want to brag on Ryan with Tip Top Canine. I want to brag on OxyFresh. I want to brag on ShawHomes.com. I cannot gather objective Google reviews from clients that are not happy. I can't do it. Furthermore, I just can't do it. I cannot write original HTML content for a client unless they either do it themselves or they encourage my staff to do it for them. So I'd say 95% of my clients, JLD, they prefer not to write massive amounts of keyword-rich hypertext markup language content, so they have us write it for them. And then, the Google reviews, that's something that Ryan and his team get. They get video reviews and Google reviews. Ryan, could you kind of explain the process that you use to go about getting those reviews and why you've chosen to have my team write the content for you?
Yeah, as far as choosing you guys to use the content is we started out writing our own content, and that's not fun.
Soul sucking.
Yeah. So we had a lot of other stuff to do, so that's definitely not worth it in my opinion. But
Now getting the reviews. What about getting the reviews?
The reviews. First off, we got to wow the client. I got to really bring it when we train their dog, either when we boot camp it and take it and train it or do the lessons.
Yeah.
And then we just ask them. We ask them for a review, and my people, they all get bonuses if they get reviews. They get pretty hefty bonuses.
So you provide a wow, and then you ask for the review.
Yeah, we provide a wow and ask for the review.
Now, I'll say this here, JLD, real quick. I want everyone to look this up. Type in carpet cleaning quotes into Google, folks. Type it in right now, carpet cleaning quotes. Did you know that OxyFresh.com, one of my longtime clients, they're the highest and most reviewed business in America of any type.
Wow, 236,973 reviews.
And someone says, that's hyperbole. Look it up, folks. I'm telling you, I give you facts. That's a big part of the Chet Holmes Ultimate Sales Machine experience, by the way. Big shout out to the Chet Holmes legacy, to his daughter, to anybody connected with that organization. They are the best. But I'm telling you, you got to get those reviews. It's called puffery if you're making stuff up. You want to cite your sources, okay? That's why I give people examples, ample examples that the humans can handle. Also, it's very important to understand this. When you go to thrivetimeshow.com, do you know in 2006, that was the first year that a client called me and said, could you help me grow my business? And at that point, JLD, I had built America's largest wedding DJ entertainment company. I had built a massive photography company. I had built a commercial real estate business. I'd been building my own companies. I never wanted to be a marketing consultant, business growth guy. And I remember I had a dentist and an insurance agent. They said, could you help me grow my business? And this, as God is my witness, this dentist tripled the size of his dental practice. And I said, hey, Dr. Lindsay, could you record on video about your growth? Because no one's going to believe it. And he goes, yeah, sure. So I put it up there, thrivetimeshow.com. Then I talked to the insurance agent. I said, hey, no one's going to believe you're Oklahoma's largest insurance agent where you used to struggle. Could you record a video? Boom. So if you look at those videos, as of right now, as of today, we now have over 2,000 client success stories where we have over tripled the size of someone's business. They're all documented. And JLT, that's why I believe that our program is so successful. One, because the current clients know, wow, other people can do it. I can do it too. And the other thing is that people have seen the validators and they know, wow, the proof is in the pudding. Success leaves trails. And it's all documented right there at thrivetimeshow.com.
Fire Nation, thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire. I mean, check it out. He has so much stuff going on there. Ryan and Clay, I mean, I want to end with a bang here. Let's take our time because, I mean, there's just been so many value bombs. I just don't want any to sneak through the cracks here. But let's start with you, Ryan. What is the one major takeaway that you really want Fire Nation to get from everything that we've talked about, from all the value bombs we've dropped? What do you want to make sure our listeners really understand?
Yeah, I would say I want them to really understand that it doesn't matter how good you are at your craft. If you don't have repeatable systems and they're not scripted out, you're not going to succeed in replacing yourself. So it doesn't matter how good you are. You just own a job. You don't necessarily own a business. We tripled our income, right, while growing to 17 locations and doing product support and doing a call center and billing support for the locations. So that was in 5 years. So we tripled my location while we're training 17 others. So I couldn't have done that without hard system.
Clay, bring us home. What is it you really want to make sure Fire Nation gets in this conversation? Give us that strong call to action so we can have more success stories from you, Fire Nation. Our listeners, take action.
Well, you got 3 ways that you can get rich that you people always say, can I get rich quick? I could definitely guarantee that somebody can become wealthy if they follow these proven systems. I can do that. And by the way, if you start working at the age of 20, and you want to become a millionaire by the age of 40, you need to save about $175 a day. I know that because I've done the math. Okay, so you need to save $175 a day and then don't die. That would be your stop, drop, and roll, look both ways while crossing traffic, that kind of thing. Okay, but you save $175 a day. But if you want to get wealthier faster, what you want to do is you want to look at the three situations. One, you could go out there and open your own business, okay? And that's the thing I specialize in teaching people at thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire. I can teach you how to grow a successful company. So if you have a company, you want to grow it, that's what I do. I'd love to help you. Boom. The first consultation's free. The workshops are interactive. You can learn more. But again, the first consultation is free at thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire. Two, you could buy an existing business model. You would call that franchising or licensing. I gave you two examples today, but there's other ones I didn't give you. I mean, you could become a State Farm agent. You could open a Tip Top Canine. You could open up a Domino's Pizza. You could open up an OxyFresh. The reason why I wanted to have Ryan on today's show is he's a client I've worked with for a long time. We've successfully helped him to franchise, and it's pretty awesome what he can do, and it's less than $50,000 to open up a location. And there are some franchises you can look into, like buying a McDonald's is over $2 million today. So, buying a franchise is a great option. You just want to make sure it's affordable for you. And the third thing you can do, and this is something I don't know that I can't do it. You have to be a genius. Now, somebody out there says, I am a genius. That's great. But I'm talking about like Steve Jobs invented, the modern computer systems that we have today. He's a genius. He revolutionized the music industry. He's a genius. Michael Jordan could play basketball in a way that Marvin Gaye could sing. If you're a genius, if you have that supernatural God-given talent where you can sing songs and play basketball and invent stuff, you don't need me, because if you're so great that the world can't ignore you, that right there is awesome. But for the average person like myself, I'll put myself in that category, where you're not the next LeBron James, you're not the next, Oprah, you're not the next Marvin Gaye, you probably need to go back to move one or two. So either you want to grow a proven, learn how to grow a business using proven systems that we teach at thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire, or you want to buy a franchise or license an existing system, which you can learn more about at tiptopcanine.com. And again, there's other options too. I mean, State Farm is a great brand. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, shape, or form. Domino's is a great brand. I mean, there's so many. Jimmy John's is a great brand. What I like about Tip Top, though, is it's $50,000 or less, whereas a lot of the other opportunities that exist in franchising do cost people millions of dollars.
Fire Nation, you can see why Clay has made his 10th appearance on Fire Nation, because he brings the fire, he brings the heat, and he brings the results. Because you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You've been hanging out with Clay and Ryan and JLD today, so keep up the heat. If you head over to eofire.com, type Clay, you will see the show notes page with links to everything, as well as the other 9 shows that he did, and I promise you, they were all amazing. thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire. thrivetimeshow.com/EOFire. If you want to start taking steps in the right direction with your life and business, Fire Nation, get on a free consultation call with Clay. Take advantage of this, because I can guarantee you he may not be able to do this forever, because he only has so much time, energy, and effort he can put into this. But Clay, Ryan, I want to say thank you for sharing your truth, knowledge, value with Fire Nation today. For that, we salute you, and we'll catch you both on the flip side.
Boom.
Thanks, man.
Hey, Fire Nation, a big thank you to Clay, Ryan, and our sponsors for sponsoring today's episode. And Fire Nation, if you want productivity, discipline, and focus in your life, the Mastery Journal is for you. Visit themasteryjournal.com, and in 100 days, you'll master productivity, you'll master focus, you'll master discipline. Check it out, themasteryjournal.com, and I'll catch you there, or I'll catch you on the flip side.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy. I'm originally from Tulsa, born and raised here. I've definitely learned a lot about life design and making sure the business serves you. The linear workflow for us and getting everything out on paper and documented is really important. We have workflows that are kind of all over the place, so having linear workflow and seeing that mapped out on multiple different boards is pretty awesome. That's really helpful for me. The atmosphere here is awesome. I definitely just stared at the walls, figuring out how to make my facility look like this place. This place rocks. It's invigorating. The walls are super, it's just very cool. The atmosphere is cool. The people are nice. It's a pretty cool place to be. Very good learning atmosphere. I literally want to model it and steal everything that's here at this facility and basically create it just on our business side. Clay is hilarious. I literally laughed so hard that I started having tears yesterday. And we've been learning a lot, which, you know, we've been sitting here, we've been learning a lot, and so the humor definitely helps. It breaks it up. But the content is awesome, off the charts, and it's very interactive. You can raise your hand. It's not like you're just listening to the professor speak, you know. The wizard teaches, but the wizard interacts and he takes questions, so that's awesome. If you're not attending the conference, you're missing about 3/4 to half of your life. You're definitely, it's probably worth a couple $1,000s. So you're missing the thought process of someone that's already started like 9 profitable businesses. So not only is it a lot of good information, but just getting in the thought process of Clay Clark or Dr. Zellner or any of the other coaches, getting in the thought process of how they're starting all these businesses, to me, just that is priceless. That's money. Well, we're definitely not getting upsold here. My wife and I have attended conferences where where it was great information and then they upsold us like half the conference, and I don't want to like bang my head into a wall. And she's like banging her head into the chair in front of her. Like, it's good information, but we're like, oh my gosh, I want to strangle you. Shut up and go with the presentation that we paid for. And that's not here. There's no upsells or anything, so that's awesome. I hate that. It makes me angry. So glad that's not happening. So the cost of this conference is quite a bit cheaper than business college. I went to a small private liberal arts college and got a degree in business. And I didn't learn anything like they're teaching here. I didn't learn linear workflows. I learned stuff that I am not using, and I haven't been using for the last 9 years. So what they're teaching here is actually way better than what I got at business school. And I went what was actually ranked as a very good business school. I would definitely recommend that people would check out the Thrive 15 conference. The information that you're going to get is just very, very beneficial, and the mindset that you're going to get, that you're going to leave with, is just absolutely worth the price of a little bit of money and a few days worth of your time.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. In a world filled with endless opportunities, why would 2 men who have built 13 multi-million-dollar businesses altruistically invest 5 hours per day to teach you the best practice business systems and moves that you can use? Because they believe in you, and they have a lot of time on their hands. They started from the bottom, now they're here. It's the Thrive Time Show, starring the former U.S. Small Business Administration's Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark, and the entrepreneur trapped inside an optometrist's body, Dr. Robert Zellner. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Started from the bottom, now we're at the top, teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio, and now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us. This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See? It's nice, right? So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
The Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
All right. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring up my good friend Ryan Wimpy, and his dog Odin. This dog has the ability to eat me, so I'm sort of concerned. I'll pass the mic to you, and Odin, you can have your own mic if you want, whatever you want, Odin. Okay, I'm a little bit afraid of Odin.
Hi, I'm Ryan Wimpy.
And I'm Rachel Wimpy, and the name of our business is Tip Top Canine.
Our business is a dog training business. We help people with behavioral issues and teach their dog how to listen. When I was learning to become a dog trainer, we didn't learn anything about internet marketing or advertising or anything at all. Just dog training. And that's what's so great about working with Clay and his team, because they do it all for us.
So that we can focus on our passion, and that's training dogs. Clay and his team here, they're so enthusiastic. Their energy is off the charts. Never a dull moment here at Thrive.
We've been working with Clay and his team for the last 5 months, 2 of which have been our biggest months ever. 1, our biggest gross by 35%. Clay's helped us make anything from brochures to stickers, new business cards, new logos, scripts for phones, script for email, script for text message, scripting for everything.
How I would describe the weekly meetings with Clay and his team are awesome. They're so effective. It's worth every minute. Things get done. We'll ask for things like different flyers, and they're done before our hour is up. So it's just awesome, extremely effective.
If you don't use Clay and his team, you're probably going to be pulling your hair out, or you're going to spend half of your time trying to figure out the online marketing game and producing your own flyers and marketing materials, print materials, all the stuff like that. You're really losing a lot as far as lost productivity and lost time. Not having a professional do it, it has a real sense of urgency and that actually knows what they're doing when you already have something that's your core focus that you already know how to do.
You would also be missing out with all the time and financial freedom that you would have working with Clay and his team.
We would recommend Clay and his team to other business owners because they need to be working on their business, not just trying to figure out the online game, which is complex and changing daily. So no one has a marketing team too. Most people don't. They can't afford one, and their local web guy or a local person that they know probably can't do everything that a whole team and a whole floor of people can do in hours and not just weeks or months. There's a definite sense of urgency with Clay and his team. I used to have to ride other web people, really ride them to get stuff done, and stuff is done so fast here, and there's a real sense of urgency to get it done.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy. I'm originally from Tulsa, born and raised here. I've definitely learned a lot about life design and making sure the business serves you. The linear workflow for us and getting everything out on paper and documented is really important. Like we have workflows that are kind of all over the place, so having linear workflow and seeing that mapped out on multiple different boards is pretty awesome. That's really helpful for me. The atmosphere here is awesome. I definitely just stared at the walls, figuring out how to make my facility look like this place. This place rocks. It's invigorating. The walls are super, it's just very cool. The atmosphere is cool. The people are nice. It's a pretty cool place to be. Very good learning atmosphere. I literally want to model it and steal everything that's here at this facility and basically create it just on our business side. Play is hilarious. I literally laughed so hard that I started having tears yesterday. And we've been learning a lot, which, we've been sitting here, we've been learning a lot, and so the humor definitely helps. It breaks it up. But the content is awesome, off the charts, and it's very interactive. You can raise your hand. It's not like you're just listening to the professor speak, The wizard teaches, but the wizard interacts and he takes questions, so that's awesome. If you're not attending the conference, you're missing about 3/4 to half of your life. You're definitely... It's probably worth a couple $1,000s. So you're missing the thought process of someone that's already started like 9 profitable businesses. So not only is it a lot of good information, but just getting in the thought process of Clay Clark or Dr. Zellner or any of the other coaches, getting in the thought process of how they're starting all these businesses, to me, just that is priceless. That's money. Well, we're definitely not getting upsold here. My wife and I have attended conferences where where it was great information and then they upsold us like half the conference, and I don't want to bang my head into a wall, and she's banging her head into the chair in front of her. It's good information, but we're oh my gosh, I want to strangle you. Shut up and go with the presentation that we paid for. And that's not here. There's no upsells or anything, so that's awesome. I hate that. It makes me angry. So glad that's not happening. So the cost of this conference is quite a bit cheaper than business college. I went to a small private liberal arts college and got a degree in business, and I didn't learn anything like they're teaching here. I didn't learn linear workflows. I learned stuff that I am not using, and I haven't been using for the last 9 years. So what they're teaching here is actually way better than what I got at business school. And I went what was actually ranked as a very good business school. I would definitely recommend that people would check out the Thrive 15 conference. The information that you're going to get is just very, very beneficial, and the mindset that you're going to get, that you're going to leave with, is just absolutely worth the price of a little bit of money and a few days worth of your time.
Oh, look at this cute baby. What a great baby. Quality baby. That's a healthy baby right there. Okay. Thrive Nation, on today's show, I'm very excited for you to hear this success story about this wonderful couple that, Sean, I would describe them as they are killing the game in the most nonviolent way possible. They're killing the game.
Yeah.
In the most nonviolent way possible. They are blowing up in a good way. Folks, I'm telling you, these folks are really growing their business, and what makes them great is they're really kind, hardworking, diligent people, and we're honored to serve them. We've got Jenny and Mike here joining us. Jenny and Mike, welcome to the Thrive Time Show. How are you two?
Hi, thank you. Good. We're doing well.
Okay, now I'll start with you, Jenny, because frankly, Sean likes you more. No, I'm just kidding. So let's start with you. So how did you first discover us and the business coaching that we provide?
So I was listening to different podcasts about business. I was starting up our business. And so you were the first one to pop up on our podcast on Apple. I think Apple is what I was on. And so I started listening to you. I got on your website and I was just a little girl starting a business. And I said, I'm going to ask this guy to be my coach. And I don't think I'm going to get a shot, but sure enough, within a week, you called me.
Now, who is this cute child here? But Micah, who is this cute kid here?
It's Lennon Rose. She is about to be 10 months old.
I hate to do this to you, but can you kind of hold up the baby to the camera a little bit? This is probably, oh, look at this cute baby. What a great baby. Quality baby. That's a healthy baby. Okay. So Mike, can you tell us what's the name of your website there? I think people want to look you up and verify you're real people that don't just happen to have a cute baby.
Yeah. Our website is newconcept.healthcare.
Newconcept.healthcare. So newconcept.healthcare. I'm going to pull it up right now, folks, so we can all verify that they're not just a couple who's taking advantage of the cute baby they have to get a podcast here. This is a real couple. Okay, so I'm pulling it up here. So this is the website. It's newconcept.healthcare. And can you tell our listeners what services do you guys provide at newconcept.healthcare?
So we offer more functional medicine. So we offer IV therapies. We offer hormone replacement therapies. We also do acute care. We do pretty much everything, but we're very much alternative. So we believe in medical freedom, and that's what we offer.
And you guys, you reached out. Do you remember that initial consultation there? Do you remember, Mike, that initial consultation? Do you remember what that was like?
Yeah, it was actually pretty overwhelming that we were starting this business with absolutely nothing, and we had the opportunity to work with Five Time Chef.
Well, you know, the one thing I always try to do is, you know, my father, great guy, may he rest in peace. He worked his tail off like so many people do, and there was no real economic result that was achieved from it. There wasn't any, you know, he had the college degree. He's working 2 jobs. I remember he's late 30s. He's working at Domino's, delivering pizzas, working at Quick Trip. He worked at furniture stores. And I always try to look at every new client we have as though I'm talking to my dad, you know, because like what would my dad, you know, what could he have learned at the age of 37 that could have changed the financial trajectory of his life? You know, and I try to look at it that way. And so you guys, I paired you up with Sean. You've been working with Sean, I believe, Sean, since October of 2020. Is that correct, Sean?
I think that's when they started their business. It wasn't until about April of 2021 when we actually got going.
So April of 2021. And at that point, from that point to now, Sean, how much of growth have you guys achieved from 2021 to now? Do you know that number?
Yeah, I mean, we're sitting at 2023 revenues were 821,000, and they're in October of 2020. Like they only had a few months, but they made about 95,000 by the end of 2020, and then we grew significantly that first year to about 375% to 588,000, and we continued to grow there ever since, all the way up to where we're getting close to the $1 million mark at this point here, just like 3 years in.
Jenny, how would you describe the growth? Would you say you've doubled? Or are you 5 times larger? How would you describe that?
Oh no, I definitely feel the growth. There's been some growing pains, and you guys have helped us through that too. So it's been amazing. It's been amazing to help people, because that's what I'm passionate about. And you guys have really helped us expand and tell people what we're about.
So step one here, we do this with all the clients. I'm gonna walk people through the steps. We really needed to nail down your branding, and that's a big thing, because you know branding is to humans what clothing is. So as an example, you know, you wake up today, folks, if you run around and you're streaking through life, you're probably not going to get a lot of conversations started. So we all have to be intentional about, you know, what are we going to wear? Are we going to wear a tie? Are we going to wear a polo? Are we going to do makeup? Are we not? So people, they judge us based on our appearance. And so we really had to get a website built. We had to optimize the online brand. Jenny, we do it all included for our clients, so we don't refer you to another vendor. We do it all. Can you talk about the impact that has made on the business?
Oh, for sure. Just the website itself, it looks so great. We would have never been able to make it look that great. The way y'all optimize everything and keep us, you know, with Google, just where people search us and that we're the first people that come up. And that's actually how we've established our business and started offering some of the things that we offer, is because of the tags that we have. I didn't originally start off as doing IV therapy, but due to people Googling, healthcare functional medicine, I had 3 phone calls in a week that said, "Hey, do you offer IV therapy?" And it was very interesting. And I was like, well, no, but I can. And so it was because of you guys that kind of snowballed and took effect. So yeah, there's a lot that you guys have done for us.
Now, Sean, when working with these wonderful clients here, I'll pick on Mike here. You always say great things about Mike and Jenny. You're always, what makes them good to work with? Because I want to make sure for anybody out there, if you go to thrivetimeshow.com, I consistently offer a free 13-point assessment. I've been doing that since 2005. I do it without reservation. There's no obligation, but there's usually about 1 to 2 knuckleheads a week that will fill out the form, and probably 20 really great people that fill out the form. And then we only take on 160 clients. And so I don't want anyone to waste their time. What makes Mike so great to work with?
Well, Clay, I mean, when I first started coaching, you taught me about these 2 types of business owners. There's the happy hopers out there, and then there's the diligent doers. And I think these guys are a great example of the diligent doer. They continually apply effort to work on their business, not just in their business. They consistently show up to their meetings. They track all of the critical numbers of their business, and they're aware of what's going on with all of their employees. They're paying attention to all the little things going on. They're keeping all the plates spinning, and they ask great questions. They actually really do make a great effort consistently to apply our systems and help their business grow. And it's been working.
So step 1, we get the branding nailed down. That's the website, the print pieces, the logos, the business cards. But then you have to develop that online reputation. Now that can be a tough thing to do, Jenny. And I'll just, this isn't a backhanded compliment. I'm just saying, but for people that are humble and very kind, of which I would put Jenny in that category, sometimes asking for reviews is more difficult because you almost feel like you're self-promoting. I've never had this conversation with you, but has that been difficult for you to ask people to give you video reviews and Google reviews after you provided the service, or was that easy for you to do?
It's not easy. It still isn't easy.
Okay.
It is. It's difficult because you feel like you're begging for something, even though you did the right thing.
Yeah.
So it's difficult for me. It's just my personality type, but we get it done anyways.
I'll find this for the diligent, kind customers we work with. It's very difficult sometimes to ask for those objective reviews from real customers. And I find that from my clients I've worked with that are sort of like self-described barbarians. I had a guy years ago I worked with. I won't mention his name or his industry, but I'll just say he's obsessed with physical fitness. And he told me, he says, "I'm kind of a business barbarian. You tell me what to do and I will slay the dragons." And I'm like, okay, you need to get Google reviews from everybody you've ever, worked with. And he's like, "Oh, I'm on it." And this guy's just shamelessly calling through his phone and just lighting people up going, "Give me a review. Come on, give me a review. Why will you not give me?" I'm like, go ahead, dial it down a little bit. So again, you guys are humble, diligent doers. You're the ideal person here. So I appreciate you sharing that. The next thing we had to do is we had to create a no-brainer. Now, a no-brainer is an offer so good, so amazing that people simply cannot say no to it. Now, I won't mention the name of the company, but I worked years ago, and I still work with this company. They're a medical company. They're doing well now. And for whatever reason, they put on their website, first initial consult, $497. And he went to one of these like borderline spiritual motivational conference things where Jesus isn't described, but they kind of talk about metaphysical alignment and getting your woo-saw, getting in your groove, alignment, no friction. and he came back and he's like, "Clay, I believe in the 7th, the number of completion." I go, I agree. He says 4 is the number that's urgent. I'm like, okay. And I go, what? And he's like, I don't want tire kickers. So I'm going to do $497 for my first consult. That way I don't deal with the tire kickers. And I'm like, "Doc, I love you so much. You're a doctor. I love it. You don't have any customers though. That's why you came to me. You don't have any customers. So why don't you do a first free consult?" He's like, "I'm not going to do it. I'm going to kick out Sean, the tire kicker." So I'm sure you've never seen this with a client.
Oh, never.
And so now what makes it worse is his wife also went to the Metaphysical Alignment Motivational Jackassery Festival. And she was like, 497 is the number. I had a dream about it. I'm like, yeah, you probably talked about it all weekend. You probably are subconsciously thinking about it. You're creating a neural pathway related to 497. And so anyway, after about a year, he finally says, "Okay, I came to your conference and I saw a person that did the first consult for $1. I'm going to go with that." And now his business is blowing up. Could you talk about your no-brainer, your first consult for $1? How has that helped you having that no-brainer offer?
Yeah, so it gets people in. And so when we get people in, we know that we're doing a good job, and we know that we're trustworthy, and our healthcare is superior to most. So just getting people in for that $1, because a lot of people are, they're nervous about going to the doctor, or they don't trust healthcare system. And so they know that they can come in, they're only going to spend $1. They can figure out whether or not they trust us, figure out whether or not we're the place for them. And we know 100% of the time we will be. So it's really helped us just get people in and get people to trust us more.
Now, once somebody fills out the form, folks, again, there's a linear pathway here. I'm trying to give you a visual here. So you establish your revenue goals. You figure out your numbers to break even. You figure out how many hours a week you're willing to work. Even though you have a cute baby, you got to figure out how you're going to get it done. Step number 4 is you define your unique value proposition. What makes you unique? That's something you and Sean have worked on together. You improve your branding. Now you're coming in contact with humans. Business is a contact sport. I love this part. That's when you start marketing. You launch your marketing. You have your online ads. You optimize your website. You begin to come up top in the search results. You start to get leads. Do you remember what it was like, Jenny, when you first got your first online lead? Do you remember the first one where you're like, it's working? Do you remember that moment?
Yeah, it was almost like we did celebrate, because it finally had happened. And then as soon as the first one came in, the second one came in. And like I said, it was almost a growing pain experience. We had so many leads so fast. So it was great. And we still celebrate every lead that we get.
Now, Mike, the next step is you have to make sales scripts. We recommend to every client that the calls are recorded for quality assurance. You have a sales script. The calls are recorded for quality assurance. You have a one sheet that tracks your pricing. You have pre-written emails. You begin tracking. Sean's always bragging about you guys with tracking. Mike, how has it helped to have tracking in place where you can see, how does that help you?
Well, it's really a good benefit, because, at the end of the week, what your income was, what your leads was. So wherever we're lacking in, we can quickly adjust and make that adjustment to make it work for the next week.
Now, if you don't have tracking, folks, this is a true story. It's kind of a sad story, so I'll speak in generality, Sean. I talked to a guy the other day, just to share a terrible story. Longtime client, and he got motivated. He set up a trade show. He didn't tell me he's doing it. It's fine. You don't have to tell me, but he set up a trade show. I think he was going to try to surprise me with the fruit of the trade show. So he set up the trade show, and he gets on the call. His energy's kind of off, and I'm like, "Are you okay?" "Yeah, dude, fine." What's wrong?" I don't know. I'm like, "Your lead sheet, we're getting, 10 to 15 leads a week. It's very consistent. Revenue looks good." He's like, "Yeah, I'm in a tight spot." "Well, you're in a tight spot. Why are you in a tight spot?" He says, "I did a trade show." "You did a trade show?" "Yeah, I got roped into 4. I did a thing where you get the billboard, you get the trade show, you get the magazine ad. And I did the trade show, and we got no leads." And I go, "What kind of trade show did you do?" And he says, "Well, I went to the whatever trade show." And Sean, what I find is that there's the emotional excitement about being on the billboard, being on the magazine cover, and he got called by one of these kind of scam. I call it a scamockery or jackassery.
Yeah.
They call you and they go, boop, 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 boop. "Hey, is this Sean?"
Yeah, this is Sean.
"Sean, yeah, we noticed that you have an incredible healthcare company, and we want to honor you by giving you the yada yada of the region award. It's the yada yada. It's a regional, it's a prestigious award. We'd like to meet with you. Can we meet with you?"
Yeah.
So now I meet here. Now, Sean, again, we're on the phone, but I still like the phone voice here. So now, Sean, so because we're so honored, we're inviting you to a plated dinner to honor your honor, your honoredness, your greatness, your humbleness. And it's going to be $1,000 a plate, for you and your wife. And did you want 4 seats or 8? Because most people do 8.
Oh, I guess just 4.
4, and that does include a glossy magazine feature in we'll just call it like Missouri local top doctor jackassery. It's a great magazine.
Oh.
And you're also you'll be on a billboard. We've teamed up with the billboard. It rotates through. You're going to see your face. Oh, hey, don't get too excited. And just because we're honored, we're not, again, we're just honored. Now, did you want to do the 4 tickets, sir?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, the way it works is it's going to be 4 payments of $4,000 for a total of $16,000. And that's, no, I'm serious. And now they're in the trade shows, and he's going to the trade show, and there ain't nobody there. There is nobody there. To be technical, nobody was at this trade show. I mean, everybody was not at the trade show. No, He's got photos of like him and his wife and his team in an empty booth, and he's got a magazine and no leads are coming. And he was so excited to tell me. I'm sure you've never encountered this sort of thing, Virginia. Have you, Jenny, have you ever seen a situation where that sort of shamockery advertising has been entered into your world in some capacity?
I've been there. I've been exactly what you're talking about. And I've set up everything and paid employees. And I felt like I was nothing more than a free pin show. The only people that were there were people looking for free pins.
Oh, I know. And it feels terrible. And then you kind of have to sell it to yourself all day. But guys, we're getting our name out there. Sean, can you pass the megaphone back there? Right behind you. Yeah, because I tell people, if you want to get your name out there, what you do is you just run outside and say, right, come visit New Concept Healthcare. And people go, why are you yelling at me? I'm trying to shop for my groceries. New Concept Healthcare. Get my name out there. You're like, is this effective? Of course it's effective. I'm getting my name out there. And then that leads to buying frisbees, branded frisbees, koozies. You know what I'm saying? Branded pins.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, you buy these things. Sean, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we have to do, and I'm going to show you. This is kind of the back end of one of my companies called Elephant in the Room, and you do a search for eitrlounge.com. And then you go to /staff. I'm not going to give you the password, folks, but you log in, and these are all the systems needed to run the haircut chain. Now, one thing I thought was very interesting is Truth Social, President Trump's social media platform. The other day, they were disclosing, Newsweek was disclosing the revenue of it.
Oh,
and I just want people to know this because I think, I just full disclosure, I'm a very conservative person, but I just want people to see this. This is just something to look at. Truth Social, they declared in their filing that they did $3.3 million of revenue and had $49 million of losses, which, by the way, that's very normal for a tech startup company. And their users are going up. And they're having there's like a reaction in the marketplace. People are actually putting more money in. They're investing. The stock price is going up. But I don't know anybody that I've met in my life. But I've never been a client that can afford to bring in 3.3 million and lose 49 million. So like for my haircut chain, we have 5 locations. We bring in more than 3.3 million, and this just in, we don't spend 49 million. So we have to, we call it a lean startup. You got to keep that thing lean. And so when you go to eitrlounge.com /staff, every document needed to manage the business is here. So the opening checklist for the manager, you click here, boom, this is what the manager has to do to start the day. Everything is documented. And that's kind of where we're at right now with Jenny and Mike's business. We're in the process of building all those checklists.
Yeah.
Sean, what kind of checklists have you built so far?
Oh man, we have a whole page. Their staff page is pretty built out. We're really getting there. I think more right now it's getting, correct me if I'm wrong, we need some managers in there so we can free you guys up from the business. And so we have a lot of the worker level systems. We're just now working on more of how do we get those manager level systems and find those high quality managers.
Now let me give Jenny a little mentor moment here. This will be helpful for you. I'm going to hop on a flight in about 2.5 hours, 3 hours to go to Denver. All right. And I got to go to Denver to meet with the founder of oxyfresh.com. This is a brand we've worked with and helped them to grow to 550 locations now. 550 locations. Okay. And if you type in carpet cleaning quotes, we're the world's highest rated and most reviewed company in the world. Okay. 274,000 reviews. We've been holding this idea in our mind for 15 consecutive years. I've been working on this, Sean, before I met you. We're grinding, okay?
Yeah.
And the biggest challenge that the locations have is managers, finding a good manager. And I tell people this, and it never goes over well, but hopefully eventually it will. I'll keep refining the idea. The kind of person that enjoys conflict, but also likes people, is a good manager. Let me try that again. The kind of person that enjoys conflict, but also likes people is a good manager. And I have found it's not so much trainable as it's findable. So as an example, where we're getting ready to head out to Denver, Sean, you know my personality type, and you know that I have to pack all this stuff to get ready to go. You saw my suitcase out there?
Yep.
How many times do you think I've followed up with the people involved in the trip so far before leaving?
Oh man, it's probably on your to-do list, and you've checked it off like probably at least 5 times today, I would think.
And what kind of things do you think I might have put on my checklist to travel to Denver?
First off, just making sure that the timing is working, making sure that you have all the stuff that you need, making sure that you have double of the stuff that you need in case something gets broken. making sure that the people who are there know you're coming and when you're going to be there and
Keep
what to
going.
expect from you.
What do you think I'm checking a bag?
Oh yeah, you're probably not checking a bag.
There
It
it
would get
is.
lost.
All
No.
right.
No.
And you think I'm catching a flight a lot earlier than I need to be there?
Way earlier.
Yeah, if I'm having a meeting tomorrow, which I am, I'm leaving today at 12:30.
Yeah.
So this is, but that's the sort of paranoia that makes management possible. So I have literally called. I said, "All right, I'm getting on the 12:30 flight. We're meeting tomorrow. I should be in by like 4:00 Denver time. Our meeting's tomorrow. If that flight gets delayed and the next one gets delayed and the next one, I'll still be there. I've got backup phone chargers. I have a rule. Everybody going with me. You cannot check a bag. I want to check a bag. Can't check a bag. Why? Because it could get lost. This is real. I'm not. I am completely paranoid, and that is the paranoia is what makes the businesses run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I asked my staff every day, guys, elephant in the room. Did you guys get a review? And they say, well, yeah, we got a review. You asked me 10 minutes ago. Okay, well, I'll talk to you in 4 minutes. You heard me say that. I'll say, I'll talk to you in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'll do it. And it's a follow-up because I have to make sure that the checklists are being followed, the reviews are being followed. We're a licensed business. People don't know that. Hair care, you're licensed by the state. So we have certain cleanliness standards. We could have random people from the state show up. So we got checklists. And I follow up, and it doesn't bother me to follow up with the same adult who's in their 40s 6 times within a 50-minute span of time. It doesn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
But most people, that bothers them.
Yeah.
And so have you found that, Jenny, that a lot of people don't like to follow up? Have you found that, or is that just something unique to me?
I found that they don't like to follow up. No, people don't like to follow up. It's almost like an awkward communication thing that people try to avoid. Yeah. And it's not necessarily that you're being mean or any type of way, but I feel like that's probably the way that we feel when we continuously follow up, like we're having to step on people's toes, but really we're not. We're just getting the job
My
done.
mentorship moment for you is it's probably the same feeling you have when you ask for reviews.
Yeah.
It's probably the same. So, and I'm just saying, and if you, Mike, did you ever play football or a sport of some kind?
Yeah, I used to play soccer.
Okay, soccer. So like when what position did you play?
Goalkeeper.
Goalkeeper. Okay. So this is a great example. I didn't know you were a goalkeeper, but when you're a goalkeeper and someone's kicking that ball at you fast, I mean, just the ball's coming in there. I mean, people can really kick a soccer ball fast. Yeah. There are certain people that want to be a goalkeeper, but they kind of avoid the ball. They try to hide from it. They flinch. You know what I'm talking about? But you actually would lunge into it. Am I correct?
Right.
I mean, you're aggressive, right? I mean, you're like, for some reason you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I enjoyed getting 100 miles an hour fastball.
Did you ever see somebody who tried to be a goalie? I'm not looking for a name here, but somebody who would kind of hide from the ball?
Yeah.
This is the same thing for management. Like as a manager, you have to sort of seek out conflict, but like people. So I'll say things like, okay, hey, it's 8:00. I need to make sure you put out the flags in front of the elephant in the room store today, Mr. Manager. Put out the flags that draw the attention by the road. Put out the flags. And I'm going to call you in 10 minutes to follow up. Call them in 10 minutes. Are the flags up? Can you send me a picture? They're like, do you not trust me? Absolutely not. I trust nobody. Go ahead and send them. And then I'll call them back 30 minutes later. Hey, did you get Google reviews? Yeah, we got one Google review. You know, the quote is 10. Yeah, I'll call you back in 2 minutes. Call them back. Hey, did you get a review? It's been 2 minutes. I know. Oh, hey, I'll tell you what. I'll call you back in an hour. And my whole day is just following up. And then over time, the culture happens where people go, he's going to follow up. And now the people that like the follow-up like to work there, and it's become a great thing. And that's where we're kind of at right now, I think, is we're getting into the follow-up phase. Do you have call recording in place there, Mike? Do you have the call recording for quality assurance installed yet?
Yes, we do.
And are you learning some things?
Yes. It is very hard to train people on recording scripts.
Yeah. Okay. That's something we got to do. Now we're just going through the workflow. And then the wowing the customers. What Sean is saying is that your patients are consistently wowed. Now, I don't know if that's because Sean is your hype man or if that's a real thing, but it seems like people are actually wowing. They're being wowed right now. People, when they come in, if you look at the workflow, they buy something right here. We have to wow them. You've got to create that wow moment. And again, if you want to download this diagram, folks, just go to thrivetimeshow.com/millionaire, thrivetimeshow.com/millionaire. You can download it from my newest book called A Millionaire's Guide to Becoming Sustainably Rich. You got to create that wow moment. I mean, amidst the checklists and the tracking, at some point here, you've got to create a moment that wows people where they go, wow. So I'm trying to get everybody's creative juices flowing here. So if you have a restaurant, I work with a restaurant in Florida right now, a great restaurant. They say, welcome in. Is it your first time? They say, yeah, it's my first time. Oh, well, hey, you get free appetizers on us today and one free adult beverage. Welcome in. And that every time it's that, wow. And then when you come back later and ask for a review or, hey, what entree do you want? Guess what? People become generous with how they buy. Another example, I work with an auto auction. The auto auction says your first time that you buy from the auto auction, you only have to pay $1 more than the actual cost of the vehicle just to wow people, to get that going. I happen to work with a carpet cleaning business. And what they do is they say, hey, the first time we clean your carpet, we'll beat any competitor's price, and it will be at least half off of our normal price. And they go, okay, great. You got to have that wow moment. What are you guys doing, Jenny, to wow your customers there?
Well, there are things that we do. We will oftentimes like give samples of certain things because we know they work. We have a lot of supplement sales that we do. Again, the dollar consult is a wow moment because we will spend some, 10 to 15 minutes explaining how we're different. And I feel like they're wowed because of that. Also, our services are so much different. We spend time in the room with our patients. We listen to them. They're not just a number. And a lot of times people have never experienced that. So there's a lot of wow moments, I think, for all of our patients.
Now, I understand that 59% of your customers are now from word of mouth. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, well, and with the customer acquisitions cost too, I've heard you say this before, Clay, that if you're advertising and you're doing a good job wowing at the same time, they compound each other, and you'll end up having 2 to 3 word of mouth referrals from those patients that are wowed for every 1 lead you have from advertising. We measured and tracked that they had this last year, for every dollar they spent on advertising, they were able to bring back in $4.61. So that's a 461% return on their marketing investment.
It's incredible stuff. And the great news is, as we build these systems, if you guys ever wanted to franchise or license or open up multiple locations, if done properly, you should be able to scale it. It should be very repeatable, very duplicatable. Other things you guys have done, you've implemented a database to keep track of your customers. You're gathering objective video reviews. You guys are really checking all the boxes. I'd like for you, if you can, Jenny, here, to give a word of encouragement for any of our listeners out there that are a little bit on the fence right now, and they're going, I have thought about scheduling a free consultation, but I don't know. I hear it's $1,700 a month, and can you maybe explain your thoughts, what you'd say to anybody who's a friend of yours or family that asks you about the value about the business consulting?
Oh, well, I would say that the $1,700 a month is an excuse not to have someone to mentor you. It's kind of like being in a gym when you need a trainer. We're not always perfect, and business owning is not easy, and you need a mentor. I've never missed the $1,700 a month, even when I was only 6 months in when we started with you guys. I've never even considered it a loss. It was scary at first to make that, but that wasn't an excuse. I knew I needed someone to guide me through this, and you guys have guided us through this, through the entire thing, through employees, through income, through spending, through all of it. And we come through so many problems. There are a lot of problems that are established when you have a business. I mean, you become very overwhelmed very fast, and you need somebody that you can call who's successful, who's been there, that says, you're not crazy. This happens to all of us. Here's what you do about it. It's been the best decision that we've made.
Final question I have here for you, as far as having like a one-stop shop. Years ago, I hired a business consultant who was great, and he would say things like, and I'm not ripping him, I'm just telling you what would happen. He would say, Clay, you got to work on your business and not in it. I'm going, that's true. He goes, you got to delegate to elevate. That's true. Clay, your website is not optimized. And I'm going, this is great. Fresh perspective. I go, Bruce, could you help me optimize? No, I don't optimize. Could you help me work on it? No. Could you help me make a checklist? No. Do you help me with the print pieces that I need to make? No. Can you make a video? No. Do you help me with my online ads? No. Clay, and he was kind of he's an Northeastern American guy. And he used to say, Clay, baby, let me tell you what. I don't make print pieces. What am I, a print piece guy? I'm not a web guy. We know what I am. I'm a work on the business guy. You got to find a good web guy. So every meeting we would have would result in me having to find another vendor to pay another $8,000 to build the website, $4,000 to make the video, $5,000 to do. So every time he would give a recommendation, it would lead to another cost. Can you maybe explain the value of having a flat monthly fee?
Yeah, I don't have to ever worry about it. I know if I need the website updated, it's a text away. I know if I'm having trouble with an employee, it's a text away. I know if I need financial advice, it's a text away. And again, we meet every single week, and all our questions are answered, and we're held accountable to what we need to be held accountable for. So it really works for us.
Jenny and Mike, thank you guys for your time so much. I really do value your time. I appreciate you guys being here today. And on part 2 of today's show, we're going to tee up another success story because we want people to know it is possible, despite the financial jackassery plaguing our nation right now. It is possible to become successful, and you guys are a living example of it. Thank you guys for bringing your baby on the show. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Whoa.